Good afternoon, Professor. I'm going to talk about Chapter 7, Young Adolescents, and I'm going to talk about some of the criteria that I have to fulfill. So, covering the main points of the reading. So, throughout the reading, you have a lot of dynamics like social and physical, right? You have identity issues because along those ages, which is usually right after high school, you have a huge, not only social, but independence. Like you have social independence and you have economical independence, but that also leads to social hardship and economical hardship. So, but that also has multiple layers in social classes. So a good example would be if I am in a low socioeconomical area, but I had a strong family that installed strong family ethics and a hindsight on education. So me, I've absorbed that from the society, from my parents, and now I have to go to college. But now I have to go to college, get an education, find a part-time job. If you have to pay for your own college, that adds so much more pressures. And there's a like Erickson likes to say that at that time that's when you're finding a relationship, but I feel like culturally that's changed because now it's such a focal point on education and getting a great job, where back in the day it used to be like getting a family, getting a job. I think it's dramatically changed. As far as some of the readings that I found incredibly interesting, I really like that research paper, not the research paper. That article on gay relationships and open and closed relationships, and how communication and setting guidelines was incredibly important. And another aspect was how men in closed relationships could identify that they could be emotionally connected and then have other sexual endeavors, and it wouldn't affect the relationship. Sometimes it would as time would pass on because the relationship itself was being neglected because of social activities or work. Let me see. Other than that, some of the other aspects that a lot of at this age that I'm reading is that you creating your own identity from away from your previous environment. I'm not going to say like your family, but let's just say your previous environment, because you're more on your own and you start to develop your own identity and redefine it in your mind and who you are, and you start to learn. This is the stage where you really learn who you are to yourself. And because you're very dependent on yourself if you don't have a relationship. Or you can go the other route. If you get a relationship, then you start a family, and then that's a little bit different because now it's you, the other person, and if you're in a hetero relationship, you might be getting married, you might get children. And I believe the dynamics change in this period. If you are more responsible for, let's just say, your partner and maybe children, the dynamics are incredibly different, and your development changes, where it actually accelerates your development. But because you have to be either in one way or another, you have to help out the family, and you have to help and nurture the development. If you have children, help and nurture the development of your children, or if you're in a relationship, you have to help and nurture that relationship. But if you're by yourself, let's say a college student, and you really want a great job and you want to have children later, and this is what I feel our economy and our society has moved to, where childbirth and creating families is late now. It's another developmental stage. I feel it's been expanded. And we're not necessarily delayed. We're just taking more time for education and financial well-being, which I think is incredibly dynamic. And I think over the time of years, as we study this, we'll have more layers to this really, I think, very important developmental stage. Okay, I think I covered everything. In the reading, I found incredibly interesting how homosexual relationships interacted and worked. I might not be able to do that in a heterosexual context because of the environment that I grew in, but it would be very awesome to have a relationship that was open and had no jealousy and sex wasn't as big of an issue. I don't think I could do that because how I was raised. But I just found that interesting, and how people could have an open relationship for years and maintain that, and or have a closed relationship but be honest and have, I'm talking about referring to the case studies, have a closed relationship and be honest that they are attracted to other people and it wouldn't be such an effect. I don't know, I just found it very interesting. Okay, Professor, thank you. You have a nice day.